everybody, my name is Allison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me this evening for another episode of Book Chat. Tonight I'm going to be chatting with you about the novel Life and Other Love Songs by Anissa Gray. I really enjoyed this book. It combines a lot of things that I really like into one novel. So those are different plot devices, such as flipping viewpoint. So this book flips between three different characters' point of view. It's a family, so it's a mom, a dad, and a daughter, and it goes between all three of their points of view. And then it also flips in terms of time period. So it goes back and forth between the past and the present. And I really enjoy that as a plot device because I think it makes the action a lot more suspenseful. You get really into one time period or one point of view, and then the author switches and you're left really wanting more because you want to get back to that point of view or that time period, but you know that you have to read through this person's story or the next point in time in order for it all to make sense. And then by the time that you're through with the next section, you're really invested in that and you flip back to the character you were dying to get back to, and suddenly you want to stick with the character that you were just with. So I really love that as a plot device. I also love books that cover a family's saga over generations, and this doesn't really go over too many generations. It touches briefly upon one of the main characters' past in the beginning and then really dives into it towards the end. It deals a lot with trauma and how trauma can become generational trauma inadvertently, and sometimes trying to avoid passing on trauma can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'm going to read you the inside flap. A father's sudden disappearance exposes the private fears, dreams, and joys of a Black American family in the late decades of the 20th century in this page-turning and intimate new novel from the author of The Care and Feeding the Ravenously Hungry Girls. It's a warm October afternoon and Osro Armstead walks out into the brilliant sunshine on his 37th birthday. At home, his wife Deborah and daughter Trinity prepare a surprise celebration. Down the street, his brother Tommy waves goodbye as Oz heads back to his office after a birthday lunch. But Oz won't make it to the party or even to his briefcase at his desk. He is about to disappear, and his disappearance will send shockwaves through his family. Deborah, a gifted singer, once just a hit away from Motown stardom, is devastated, especially as she discovers how little she knew of her husband. Trinity, a writer, refuses to accept that her doting father is truly gone. She believes he'll return at any moment. But it is Oz's beloved brother himself, still burdened by secrets from their shared past, who may hold the key to understanding what happened to Oz. Told in interlocking narratives moving backward and forward in time, Love and Other Love Songs is a gripping story about history and how it can haunt us, husbands and wives, fathers and daughters, and the closest of brothers. It is about the vagaries of life and the ways in which, through it all, love endures. So that summary actually makes it seem like the main action of the book lives in the present moment, or I should say in the moments right after Oz's disappearance. So there are three kind of main time periods of this book. There is the story of Deborah and Oz and how they met, and the beginnings of their family, and as the book said, Deborah's quest to become a Motown celebrity. So that's one time frame. There is the present day, which is actually after Oz's disappearance, multiple years after, about 7, 8, 9, 10 years after. So he's been declared dead, he's had a funeral, and there's how Deborah and Trinity are dealing with that. And then there is kind of this middle period, which is dealing with what happens right when Oz disappears and the disappearance of Oz. So there's these three time frames that keep flipping back and forth. And as I said, it deals a lot with how generational trauma can get passed down. So Oz and his brother Tommy do have a troubled past that gets hinted to, and you do find out everything that happened towards the end of the book, but it's just hinted to throughout the book. Another thing that is woven into this narrative is it becomes clear, it's alluded to and then becomes clearer as the book goes on, that Oz's brother Tommy is gay. Past action of this book happens in the 60s, and so as you can imagine, as a gay black man in Detroit, that's not something that you're advertising in the 60s. And so it's woven in very nicely where you as the reader are kind of aware of it, but it's not spoken outright. And it was just, I really loved how these narratives and these time periods wove together to make this really great story. And it had the same suspense you might find in a thriller, while being realistic fiction. So again, that is Life and Other Love Songs, and I would really recommend this book. It's very great, good page turner, and we have it in our collection. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.